Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, 4th Canto, Chapter 12, text number 29. Paritya abhyarcha dhishnya agrayam parshadav abhivandya cha yesha tad adhishthatum bibhrad rupam hiranmayam. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Translation. Before getting aboard, Dhruva Maharaj worshipped the airplane, circumambulated it, and also offered obeisances to the associates of Vishnu. In the meantime, he became as brilliant and illuminating as molten gold. He was thus completely prepared to board the Transcendental plane. Purport by Srila Prabhupada ki jai. In the absolute world, the plane, the associates of Lord Vishnu and Lord Vishnu himself are all spiritual. There is no material contamination. In quality, everything there is one. As Lord Vishnu is worshipable, so also are his associates, his paraphernalia, his airplane and his abode. For everything of Vishnu's is as good as Lord Vishnu. Dhruva Maharaj knew all this very well as a pure Vaishnava, and he offered his respects to the associates and to the plane before riding in it. But in the meantime, his body changed into spiritual existence, and therefore it was illuminating like molten gold. In this way, he also became one with the other paraphernalia of Vishnu Loka. Mayavadi philosophers cannot imagine how this oneness can be achieved. Even in different varieties, their idea of oneness is that there is no variety. Therefore, they have become impersonalists. As Shishumara, Vishnu Loka or Dhruva Loka are completely different from this material world, so a Vishnu temple within this world is also completely different from this material world. As soon as we are in the temple, we should know very well that we are situated differently from the material world. In the temple, Lord Vishnu, his throne, his room and all other things associated with the temple are transcendental. The three modes, Sattva Guna, Rajoguna and Tamoguna, have no entrance into the temple. It is said, therefore, that to live in forest is in the mode of goodness, to live in the city is in the mode of passion, and to live in a brothel, liquor shop or slaughterhouse is in the mode of ignorance, but to live in the temple means to live in Vaikuntha Loka. Everything in the temple is worshipable as Lord Vishnu or Krishna. So here we find this chapter describes how Dhruva Maharaj finally attained the perfection of his life by going back home, back to Godhead. So the different chapters we have been reading describes this glorious journey of spiritual life of Maharaj Dhruva. So we are also in that journey. So all the more it is very important for all of us to learn from the journey of Maharaj Dhruva. How he completed this most important journey in this human form of life. So, right in the beginning, we find Dhruva Maharaj, when he was insulted by his stepmother, Suruchi. Suruchi told him, "My dear Dhruva, you want to sit on the lap of your father. You are also son of a king, no doubt about it. But if you want to sit on the lap of your father or on the same throne of your father, then in this life it is not possible. You are very unfortunate because you have taken birth from the womb of an unfortunate woman. You have not taken birth from my womb. So you do one thing. I am advising you, go to the forest, meditate on Lord Vishnu, and when the Supreme Lord is satisfied, then as his blessing, when you get birth from my womb in the next life, then you can enjoy. Then you can sit on your father's lap. Then you can sit on the father's throne." So Dhruva Maharaj took it very seriously. So there were tears in his eyes. He was crying. And then he went to his own mother. So Suniti, she also said to Dhruva that, "Yes, Dhruva, you are very unfortunate to have taken birth from a womb of unfortunate woman like me. In fact, your father does not even consider me like a maid servant. I think maid servants are better situated. What to do? You have grown up drinking the milk of this unfortunate woman. But there is nothing to be aggrieved." She said, "If I am having so much feeling about you, the Supreme Lord, who has the hearts of millions of mothers, imagine how much feeling he will have for you if you take his shelter. So whatever your stepmother has advised, you should simply follow that." So Suruchi, even though in being envious of you, she has advised, but whatever she has spoken is truth. You should simply worship the Supreme Lord, take his shelter, and then all your desires will be satisfied. So then we find Dhruva Maharaj immediately gives up his home, everything, and goes to the forest. So there, Prabhupada explains very nicely that by the arrangement of the Supreme Lord, it was not a coincidence that Dhruva Maharaj leaves for the forest, and in the forest he meets Narada Muni. The Lord, he is just like a devotee thinks 24 hours about the Supreme Lord. The Supreme Lord thinks 24 hours about the protection of his devotee. So, by the arrangement of the Supreme Lord, Narada Muni came there, And of course, in the beginning, he just wanted to test Dhruva's determination. And later on, Narada Muni also gave the same advice. He said that whatever your mother has spoken is truth. The desires which you have, they cannot be fulfilled by anyone else. So there, Prabhupada explains very beautifully. Somebody may question this. Narada Muni is described as good as Bhagavan. He is as good as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He could have blessed directly Dhruva. Tathastu. Yes, you have a desire. You want to obtain something, better than all your forefathers. I bless you. And it is not that he was not having the capacity to bless. The devotees are more powerful than the Supreme Lord by the blessings of the Lord. But Prabhupada says, that is not what a spiritual master does. He could have blessed him directly, but he wanted to engage him in pure devotional service. So he advised him that yes, as I instruct you, you undergo severe penances, worship the Supreme Lord, chanting His holy name, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Then in the jungle, because you are in the forest, make a vigraha of the Lord, and unto Him you offer everything. And you meditate within your heart on the Supreme Lord. So Dhruva Maharaj finally followed all the instructions as were given by Narada Muni. So Prabhupada explains something very beautiful. What do we learn from the life of Dhruva Maharaj? So right in the beginning, when Maitre Rishi is very, very eager to describe the activities of Dhruva Maharaj, and Vidura is very eager to hear those activities. So in that context, Prabhupada explains about what do we learn from the life of Dhruva Maharaj. So this journey which Dhruva Maharaj undertook and attained perfection in his life is very important for all of us, because we are all sadhakas and we also want to achieve perfection. And Srila Prabhupada used to say, as Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur used to say, do not wait for next life. It is very risky. You should finish off this business in this lifetime itself. So, what do we learn? Prabhupada says, from Dhruva's actions, one can learn how one can detach himself from material possessions. We're all very attached to all the different kinds of material possessions we have. And even in our devotional life, even though we have given up our homes, we have given up our society and friendship with materialistic people, but sometimes in this journey of Krishna consciousness, we also become attached to so many things. So, it is very important to understand, just like it is explained in Nectar of Devotion, there are subtle materialistic attachments, there are gross materialistic attachments. So it may be quite easy to give up gross, which we have all given up. But it is very difficult to give up subtle attachments to name, fame, distinction, labha, puja, pratishtha. It becomes very difficult. So this is what we learn from the life of Maharaj Dhruva, how one can detach himself from material possessions. And second, Prabhupada says, how one can enhance one's devotional service by taking austerities like Dhruva Maharaj. Of course, in this age of Kali Yuga, Prabhupada explains, the Lord being very merciful, it is not possible that we can take this kind of tapasya which Dhruva Maharaj took. You all read it already, right? It is said that for the first month, Dhruva Maharaj, he ate only some berries from the fruits from the trees. Once in 3 days he would take. Then in the next month, once in 6 days, he gave up even fruits, he was taking only some grass or leaves of the trees. He was surviving in that. Once in 6 days he would take. For us, thrice in a day we take. Very difficult to even, isn't it? Today's Ekadashi, even on Ekadashi, it is very difficult. And sometimes if we fast, then we will tell Prabhu, I cannot come for service. I am fasting. Very difficult. So, then, once in 9 days in the 3rd month, he was drinking only water. Then in the 4th month, once in 12 days, he was only breathing. And after that, he even stopped breathing. So is it possible? We should just try to understand. What kind of severe austerities, along with whatever other things, but so much of austerity for the body in this age of Kali Yuga, it is not possible. It is not practical. So very simple austerities following the 4 regulative principles, chanting our rounds and doing our sadhana and seva. And whenever possible, during different festivals, fasting. To whatever extent we can do. If this much also we cannot do, we are very unfortunate actually, we should think. So much it has been simplified, isn't it? Prabhupada says that. So much it has been simplified, and after that also, if we are unable to do even this much austerity, then actually we are not serious about going back to Godhead. It's very clear. So, Prabhupada is saying, one should learn how one can enhance one's devotional service by austerities. So this is important. Then Prabhupada explains, we have been hearing Dhruva Maharaj's Katha. What do we gain by hearing this whole episode of Maharaj Dhruva. So Prabhupada says, by hearing activities of Dhruva, one can enhance one's faith in God. Because we find Dhruva Maharaj directly, whatever was described to him by Narada Muni, how he should meditate, on what form he should meditate, exactly the same form which he meditated on, he was able to see face to face. So by hearing the activities of Maharaj Dhruva, one can enhance one's faith in God and can directly connect with the Supreme Lord, and thus very soon be elevated to transcendental platform. So with Shraddha, with faith, if one hears these pastimes of Maharaj Dhruva, how he attained perfection, then his faith in the Supreme Lord will increase. And actually that is one of the very important ingredient of our devotional life. And that is why hearing is principal, very principal item in devotional life. Just like in today's class we are seeing, Prabhupada is saying, the temple of the Lord is not a part of this material world. It is different. Because of the presence of the Supreme Lord. So wherever the Supreme Lord, His presence is felt, that is Vaikuntha. And that is how it is said, Naham tishtami Vaikuntha na yogi hridayam cha tatra tishtami Narada yatra gayanti mad bhaktaha. Even though the Supreme Lord is present in Vaikuntha, He is present in the heart of the yogis, there is no doubt about it. But you cannot feel the presence of the Lord. We cannot see. But the presence of the Lord can be immediately felt, where the glories of the Supreme Lord are being enunciated, where He is being glorified. Yatra gayanti mad bhaktaha. So Prabhupada explains that is the difference between the temple in Krishna consciousness and so many other temples we may find, where people simply go and they just have, darshan of the Lord and they just come back. Prabhupada wanted that apart from all that facility which other temples are giving, the most important facility Krishna consciousness should give is people should be able to hear about the Supreme Lord. Prabhupada, when he was given the option of going around parikrama in Vrindavan, he said, what will I hear, what will I understand about the different pastimes, places of the Lord, without first hearing about them? So even visiting, one may just have Jada Darshan. One may go just like a tourist. And that is not the consciousness with one, what one should carry. Whereas when one hears about the Supreme Lord, this hearing is so important. The Supreme Lord becomes established in one's heart. Bhakti becomes naishtiki. It becomes established, irrevocable in one's heart. So that is very important. So Prabhupada is saying, by hearing about the activities of Dhruva, one can enhance one's faith in God, can connect directly with the Supreme Lord, and be elevated to the transcendental platform. The example of Dhruva's austerity can immediately generate a feeling of devotional service in the heart of hearers. Actually, that's a fact. When we hear about with how much sincerity and seriously Dhruva Maharaj undertook the austerities as given by Narada Muni, it will immediately generate that feeling of devotional service in our heart. So, this is very important. We can see here. There is another one very important instruction which is very essential for all of us in order to actually perceive things according to devotional principles. There are three different perceptions one can have. When we are in our neophyte state, our perception towards the Supreme Lord, our perception towards other devotees, our perception towards other living entities, it is completely different. When we advance little further, our perception evolves. And when we become perfectly self-realized, then our perception is the same as the perception of the Supreme Lord. So, this is very important. We find that when Dhruva Maharaj was, supposingly he was going away from devotional principles, immediately the Lord arranged Swayambhuva Manu and great sages to approach Dhruva Maharaj and give him transcendental instructions. So one of the very important instructions which Swayambhuva Manu gave is very relevant to all of us. How our perception should evolve as we practice devotional service. See, unless our perception, our behavior, our activities changes, then what devotional service have we practiced? Just like, say, for example, it is not that it is only for reading. When we hear about the activities of Mrigari and we find tremendous change in his whole perception to the whole world. It is not just for reading. It is to understand that if someone follows devotional principle, his perception, his behavior, his activities, everything should change. Isn't it? So, Mrigari we find was so cruel in his nature, and later on he was so sensitive that he does not even want to step on even a small ant and kill it. So, Swayambhu Manu is telling the same thing to Dhruva Maharaj. You are supposed to be a great devotee of the Lord. But your actions which you are performing are not in line with the principles of devotional service. This is not how a devotee should behave. This is such an important thing. And Dhruva Maharaj's acceptance of those, so important. Sometimes Dhruva Maharaj is actually so advanced in his devotional service, he could have said, "Arey, what? You are giving me instructions. I know how to act, what is to do." So sometimes we don't appreciate when somebody gives us directions. We may be going astray in our devotional life. And we may fail sometimes to even appreciate what devotees are pointing out, what are we doing. This we can learn. So when Swambhu Manu and other great sages saw that his activities are not in line with devotional principle, they immediately went and told him, gave him some very important instructions. And immediately Dhruva Maharaj stopped what he was doing. Immediately stopped. The basic instruction he gave was, one yaksha was responsible and you're killing wholesale, isn't it? So that is not principle of Kshatriya. Somebody and then anybody innocently killed, you're opening your path to hell. Ati roshena, excessive anger for a Kshatriya is not advisable. How much it is required to keep the law and order in situation? Only that much, not more than that. So that was on his Kshatriya principle, and then on spiritual principle, he gave very important instructions. So one of the important instruction he gave was how a devotee, advanced devotee, behaves towards the one who is envious. One is tolerant. So just like in our devotional life, when we are preaching Krishna consciousness, we will find so many envious elements, so many people who are envious. We have to be tolerant. That is to the personal self. When it is done to the Supreme Lord, when somebody is envious to the Supreme Lord or towards the devotees, then we cannot be tolerant. But to the personal self, one has to be tolerant. To the ignorant, one has to be merciful. So, people generally we find those who are innocent and ignorant about spiritual life, to them we have to be merciful. How we have to be merciful? To give them spiritual understanding and knowledge. To the one who are equal in devotional service to us, we have to be friendly. Satam prasangat mama virya samavido. Lord Kapila says that among the devotees, this is what we have to do. We have to hear, we have to share. All these things are very important in devotional life. And in general to all living entity, samanatvam, you should have equal vision, just like in Bhagavad Gita Krishna says, Pandita Samadarshinaha. Understanding that one living entity, other living entities are only externally different from one another. On the basis of their karma, they have taken up different dresses. But otherwise, constitutionally, everyone is part and parcel of the Supreme Lord. So, this is the vision he has for all the living entities. So, the whole idea is that our perceptions have to evolve. as we progress in devotional service. Otherwise, sometimes you find, even after 20 years of practice in devotional service, so much enmity we have in our heart towards someone. We are not ready to forgive. We are not ready to forget. Isn't it? So many things brew in our heart. And whole life we carry them along with us. So our perceptions are not changing at all. We should understand. So Prabhupada explains that in neophyte it is understandable. Apart from the Supreme Lord, apart from the deity in the temple, one has no idea, practically. How to relate with other devotees, he has no idea. How to relate with senior devotees, with advanced devotees, he has no idea. How to relate with ignorant people, he has no idea. How to respect every living entity, he has no idea. But as one advances, then his perception should change. Our behavior, our actions, everything should change. Isn't it? So, here we can see such a beautiful purport Prabhupada is explaining in line with our devotional practices. 4 very important things. I'll just take another 5 minutes and we'll complete that. Prabhupada is saying, in absolute world, the plane of the Lord, the associates of the Lord himself, his abode, they're all spiritual. Absolute, there is no difference. So this perception is so important. This perception is so important. Do we have this perception when we are washing the Aarti plates of the Lord? That this, what I am doing, it is non-different. I am thinking when I go to spiritual world I will serve, and when the Lord is telling you be trained first here, somehow or other we want to shred it away. I remember when I was, for 1 or 2 years, I was head pujari in Bangalore temple. So difficult. We used to find it to get devotees to do. Isn't it? Because our perceptions have not changed. We take it like a burden. We want to do something which is more easy for us to accommodate. Isn't it? Of course, the spiritual master engages a devotee according to his different guna and karma. That is a fact. But a devotee is ready to do any kind of service offered. Recently, one devotee, he revealed to me. This is in Hubli, I am telling. He is telling Prabhu, over a period of time, when I am seeing that other devotees are not doing, and as a standby, I only have to do. So I have also started lying to my temple commander, Prabhu, I am sick. Just imagine. I am not feeling well. Dizziness I am having. And he's saying I am actually fine. He came and just revealed to me. He was just talking to me. So how to overcome all these things. So very important. See, we are thinking the devotional service is in our own way we think. Very simple it is. What you do, just be absorbed in that. Your washing plate of the Lord, your consciousness should be, you should not be thinking some people are waiting, I have to preach to them. That is far important. Let me leave this. And we have no consciousness in washing. What is that perception we are carrying? Isn't it? We are saying every day, we are singing Chamara Dhulabo Kabe, when I will. Now we are getting opportunity Chamara Dhulabo and we are not interested. Prabhu, somebody else can do. And we are asking the Lord, give me opportunity, I will do Chamara for you one day. Isn't it? So this perception has to change. We are seeing here Dhruva Maharaj, he has that perception that this plane of the Lord is not ordinary. It is not some matter. He is circumambulating it, offering obeisances, worshipping that plane. Because he has evolved in his consciousness, he has understood that there is no difference. When I am circumambulating this plane of the Lord, I am worshipping the plane of the Lord, I am worshipping the associates of the Lord, there is no difference. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu wanted us to understand this fundamental principle. Aradhya Vrajesh Tanaya Tadhamam Vrindavanam. As much as the Supreme Lord is worshipable, anything in connection with the Supreme Lord is worshipable. No difference, absolute it is. And this principle we have to learn in our training period. Otherwise the Lord will say, your training is not yet over, be here some more time. First you finish your training. Isn't it? So this is important. And then we find, Prabhupada is explaining, as the Lord is worshipable, so also are his associates and his paraphernalia. Second thing we find Prabhupada is saying, that in the meantime, because of his evolved consciousness, which was on Shuddha Sattva platform, his bodily existence also changed completely. And he was very effulgent. So Prabhupada said that actually devotees in Krishna consciousness, later on we may become like Dhruva Maharaj, very effulgent, but at least now also, Prabhupada says, devotees in Krishna consciousness, people are able to see the difference. When we were in pant and shirt roaming around here and there, and now when people see, they are completely surprised. They say there is a brilliance in their face. Isn't it? So it's a fact. The more our spiritual qualities evolve, the more even this material body will become brilliant. It will act spiritually. And later on it will become completely transformed, like Dhruva Maharaj. So, third very important thing which Prabhupada is saying in the purport is about Mayavadi's perception of oneness. Now Dhruva Maharaj's body has also become one with other paraphernalia of the Lord. That is also worshipable now. He has become one of the associate of the Lord. The Lord's plane is worshipable. His other associates, they are also worshipable. Now Dhruva Maharaj is also worshipable completely. Because his body has also become completely spiritualized. He has maintained variety. He is one of the associate. There are other associates. There is plane of the Lord. So many other paraphernalias of the Lord. Variety is not lost. Oneness is there. Oneness in quality of the Supreme Lord. But variety is there. So Prabhupada is saying, Mayavadis cannot imagine how this oneness can be achieved even in different varieties. The idea of oneness is that, their idea of oneness is there is no variety. So they are foolish. They are thinking no Dhruva, no associate, no plane, nothing. All are one. No. Variety can be there and still there is oneness. And the most important thing which Prabhupada is mentioning is about how when Dhruva Maharaj is now, very soon he will be carried by the associates of the Lord to the spiritual world. So Prabhupada is saying Shishumara, Vishnu Loka, Dhruva Loka, all these different planets of the Supreme Lord, they're all different from even Brahma Loka. Brahma Loka may be the topmost Loka of this world, but that is not spiritual. Whereas the Loka awarded to Maharaj Dhruva is one of the planets of the Supreme Lord. So that is completely different from material world. So Prabhupada is saying, similarly, the temple of the Lord, the temple of Lord Vishnu, it is also not one among any part of this material world. It is completely different. Therefore, as soon as we are in the temple, we should know very well we are differently situated from the material world. And we find it actually. I think in one of my earlier classes I had related, there was a devotee in Hubli who left, and one day he came to Hubli temple and I was talking to him, how are you? How are you? Are you chanting few rounds? He's initiated, second initiated devotee. And he was confessing, Prabhu, I'm really very sorry. So bewildering atmosphere. So bewildering, he said. I felt odd man out when I was trying to chant my rounds. Everybody is so passionate to run behind their dream that I felt that I'm completely out of world here. And he said, slowly I gave up. And now it is difficult even to complete one round. Can you imagine? So you should not underestimate the association of devotees. You should not underestimate being in the temple. We are very, very, very fortunate. One should understand. So Prabhupada is saying here, as soon as we are in the temple, we should know very well that we are differently situated from the material world. In the temple, so this perception is also very important. Prabhupada is saying, His throne, the throne of the Supreme Lord, His room, all other things associated with the temple are all transcendental. Everything, even the toilet we are cleaning, that is all, we should understand, it is all transcendental. It has nothing to do. We should not think, only puja room I will clean and let the toilet go to hell. Let it be in whatever condition. No. Isn't it? Of course, I was reading that in the material world, Prabhupada explains, material world is actually compared to a toilet. Prabhupada says that however you may try to disinfect, every moment there is contamination. Every moment there is contamination. That is how, at least in our temples, we have, person practically, he'll be there as soon as we find there is contamination, he'll be there to clean. Prabhupada wanted that. But this is a fact. This material world is like this. Every moment it is contaminated. So every moment we have to be alert. Every moment our devotional service is so important. We should not become peaceful. We should think this material world is so contaminated, it is like lavatory. Every moment contaminations are attacking. Every time we have to keep on disinfecting. So, when we are in temple, Prabhupada is saying, actually we can be away from three modes of material nature. To stay in forest may be in goodness, to stay in cities in passion, to stay in some brothel or slaughterhouse is in ignorance, to stay in the temple of the Lord, it is transcendental. But then of course we have to understand what makes Transcendental is with the consciousness with which we understand and perceive. Otherwise, we should not be like Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur sometimes criticized Babaji's living in Radha Kund physically, but in their consciousness, Prabhupada said, they are living in Naraka Kund. Because even while living in Radha Kund, they are not taking advantage of that atmosphere. So there we have to be careful. Otherwise, even while living in Vaikuntha, even though this atmosphere is Vaikuntha, and there is no question of three modes of material nature acting, but it is the independence of the living entity. If we are not careful, then we will, any moment, we can be trapped by Maya. So with this we'll stop. Granthra Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Jagadguru Srila Prabhupada ki jai.